Terence Crawford fires back at Eddie Hearn for his shameful comments about the recent Madrimov fight. Meanwhile, Mexican boxer Canelo Alvarez claimed that Crawford's fight with Madrimov should have been a draw. Alvarez further added that Crawford was using his name during the Riyadh season to sell the fight.
What did you make of Crawford's performance against Madrimov?
For me, I think he lost. He lost the fight or draw.
Okay.
Or could be the other side. He knows why his weight class is there, right?
He was saying your name a lot all week. I was out there in LA.
Because he want to sell the fight. If they don't talk about me, they don't say anything.
Would you look at a fight with Crawford? Because in the past you've told me no.
If the money is right, I mean,
the money's got to be big for that.
I don't like fighters who move around, you know.
Weight classes.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn seemed absolutely pissed at the judges for marking the Crawford and Madrimov fight poorly. So in an interview, he explains what actually happened.
Was you weren't a very happy man.
Yeah.
Now you've had a bit of time to reflect. Have you watched it back, and has your opinion changed?
I haven't watched it back. I probably went a little bit over the top. I mean, I think that firstly, I thought I heard 116, 112 twice. And when I got in the ring, I honestly felt like we'd won the fight, we'd edged the fight. And I just felt like as champion, you know, I know it's Terence Crawford and everything, but I had a really good feeling that we were gonna get the decision. And when Michael Buffer was reading it out, I was like, I just know it's gonna be a split here, you know. And then when obviously he goes through the three scorecards, 116, 112, 115, 113, 116, 112, and I'm like, I can't believe it, like, you know.
Hearn commented that all of the effort in promoting and building up a fighter went to waste. He said that he saw all the reactions online, and most people thought Terence Crawford was winning against Madrimov, but there were also close to 40% of people that were saying that Israel Madrimov won the fight. Eddie was furious, so he said that if the numbers were this close, then the fight should have been a draw. Hearn further accused the judges of crossing off the scores and then rewriting them on the card. Eddie further elaborated on the scoring. He said that one of the judges gave Crawford the last 4 rounds, and one of them gave him the first 4 rounds. The marking was extremely biased, but Hearn also admits that the 11th and 12th round really gave them trouble. He said that if Madrimov had won one of the rounds from the last ones, then it would have been a majority draw. Looking back, Hearn said that Madrimov could have done a little more, but it was his 11th professional fight, and he still gave Crawford hell to remember. Hearn further added on the scoring, I was a little bit frustrated at the end. You know, I thought it was actually 116 to 112s. I don't see how you can only give Madrimov 4 rounds in that fight. 115, 113 is a close fight. I have to be honest, after 10 rounds I was convinced we were up, and it's an argument as to whether Crawford won 11. He definitely won 12. He also said that maybe most people thought Crawford won, but I didn't. Hearn supports Israel Madrimov for giving people such a close competitive fight against the #1 boxer in the world. Later on, Eddie Hearn shared some disturbing remarks for Terence and his team. Hearn said that he was in Crawford's corner the whole time, and it was completely quiet throughout the fight. Even Crawford's team thought the fight was super close, but Terence, on the other hand, dismissed Hearn's remarks by saying that it was an easy win for him. Furthermore, Hearn added his remarks on Madrimov. He said that Israel has gained a lot of popularity and fans from this fight, and he needs to build on that to become the best in his division. Eddie further praised Madrimov. I think his future is incredible, you know, he's 11 fights and what he's going to gain from that fight, and maybe if he believed in himself a little bit more. It's hard in those kind of fights, because when you press the fight and you start to take chances, that's where Terence becomes very dangerous. Meanwhile, during the post-fight press conference, Terence was asked about his thoughts on fighting Jaron Ennis, to which he responded that he brings nothing to the table. Hearn seemed furious at Crawford's response and claimed that if a fighter doesn't want to fight someone, then that is exactly what they say. Eddie stunningly disrespected Crawford for being scared of boots, because that is one of the best fights in boxing. It would be a real struggle to suggest any better fight than Ennis and Crawford. Eddie said that Crawford's coach Bomac and Terence himself know how tough a fight with Boots is. Eddie further commented that he understands Crawford wants the biggest names like Canelo, and Boots is still on his way to becoming a big champion. Hearn said that if Crawford is going to take the fight with Boots, then there will be a huge risk involved, and in return, he will demand a lot more money. Ennis also has to deal with the lack of belts at 154. At 147, Crawford was already the clear winner, thus there was no reason for Crawford to challenge him. Ennis will lose the opportunity to pursue uncontested tested at 147 if he advances to 154. Crawford, at 154 pounds, has little to gain from Ennis either. Eddie was later asked if he likes working with Terence Crawford, to which he responded that I've always liked working with him. Hearn praised Crawford for the way he works and lives his life. Crawford's dedication to the sport is tremendous. That is why the fans in the stadium showered praises at him when the fight was over. Later on, Hearn made a shocking revelation. He said that Madrimov will come in a rematch with Crawford in the future. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford was not far behind in the disrespectful comments against Eddie. He immediately claps back at Eddie Hearn at his press conference. Crawford explained that since it's his fighter being discussed, the promoter will say whatever he can to make the situation look better, even though he knows his fighter lost. He stated, regarding Hearn and Madrimov, man, you gotta understand that's his fighters, you know? He's gonna say anything that he can to hype it up, you know? He know that guy lost, and so do his team, and so do he. Consequently, Eddie Hearn criticized Terence for a poor performance against Madrimov on social media, which may have been the major reason why Turkey turned his attention to other fighters rather than Crawford and Canelo. Hearn claimed that Crawford got rocked really well from a guy that only had 10 professional fights in. Terence Crawford astoundingly shows insolent behavior at Eddie for his shameful remarks against him. Crawford took to social media and replied that he has never seen a Matchroom event like the Riyadh season, which was not thanks to Hearn. Crawford further added, Eddie Hearn better thank Turkey Al Sheikh for keeping all these clowns in the business. Turkey only cares about what is best for the fighters and the fans, not the promoters who are destroying the sport. Let the haters hate. Terence later added on his remarks against Eddie, either a fighter loses or leaves you. Appreciate greatness, Edward. Eddie Hearn and Terence Crawford brutally went back and forth on each other on social media. Hearn later responded to Terence's claim of promoting the fight. I gave you more promotion in 1 week than you've had your whole career. You are welcome. Congrats on the win though, Jaron Ennis. Ready to make it 5-1. Your head is gone, Terence. Check my track record. I've never seen you this angry. It doesn't suit you. On the opposite end, Jaron Boots Ennis responded to Terence Crawford's lies of giving him the chance to fight him. Boots said that he didn't have any opportunity to fight Crawford because Terence was chasing Errol Spence at the time. Ennis believed that he got lost in the mix and wasted a lot of his time because Terence was not responding to him.
That's the fight that everybody wants to see. Yeah. I want to do it.
Do you respect him as like when he's like, I got a couple fights left, I'm at the end, I'm only trying to get mega fights, so
I understand it, but don't lie or kept to the net and make it seem like I had the opportunity to fight you and I didn't. I never did. You know what I'm saying? And then that one time that I did, we said they called and we said we never heard nothing else back about it. So right. I mean, I respect it though. I mean, get your money. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. But don't be capping on the net, acting like this, acting like that.
Meanwhile, in a previous interview, Eddie Hearn explained that Crawford is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, but skepticism surrounds him as he moves up one weight class too many.
Terence Crawford's pound-for-pound number 1, or 2, or 3, like whatever way. For me, he's 1. And you hope that a guy that won his first world title at lightweight moves to 40, moves to 47, moves to 54, and then all of a sudden comes up against a much bigger, stronger guy that punches too hard for him. Is that Madrimov? We hope so. We're going to find out because Madrimov's going to hit him nice and hard and he's going to be in this fight.
Hearn believes that Crawford has changed his weight 4 times, so it may cause trouble for him in the fights. Madrimov was a very formidable adversary that punches really hard. Eddie was skeptical whether Crawford can pull off defeating Madrimov and then catch Canelos' attention later on. His concern was genuine because Terence really ended up getting hurt by Israel. Eddie further comments on Canelo's mindset about the Crawford fight. He said that Canelo doesn't get anything out of beating a 147-pound guy. Hearn suggested that if the business was right, then Canelo would take any fight, even the Benavidez fight. Alvarez definitely has a number in his mind, and he would never budge on that. Hearn alarmingly stated that he doesn't think Crawford can beat Canelo because the weight difference is just too much. It's not just that Canelo will be 168, rather he will be close to 175 or even 185 in the ring, and he has been at that weight for too long. Crawford's thin stature does not support him going up to 168. Right now, Hearn believes that Canelo and Crawford fight is more of a fantasy fight because he is not convinced that the fight will ever be made. On the contrary, after his second press conference with Edgar Berlanga, the Mexican champion Canelo Alvarez was asked about Crawford fighting him at 168, to which he responded that Terence knows that 154 is too much for him.
I'm the face of boxing.
Crawford wanted a payday, but Crawford didn't do good at 54. When I talk to people, they all tell me you would have knocked him out at 68.
Well, he knows now. He experimented the 154, and he knows. Maybe he do in 168 for a big check.
Canelo belittled Crawford after the Madrimov fight by saying that Crawford is easy money, which may not be wrong given Crawford's poor performance. Previously, Canelo was demanding $150 million from Turki Al Sheikh to fight Crawford, which may hint to either Alvarez's disinterest in the fight or he considers Crawford a very real threat. Crawford fired back at Canelo on social media and said that if he was really an easy payday for Canelo, then he wouldn't be demanding such an absurd sum from Turkey. Crawford also shunned Canelo for always fighting smaller guys like Mayweather, Charlo, etc.
If I'm easy work, I heard him say I'm easy work. If I was easy work, well, you would take all that money that he's offering you. But yet and still, he want $200 million for Benavidez, and he want $150 million to fight me. So that just lets me know right there that I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to him. I'm a threat to his legacy, because it would be crazy for a guy that started at 135 to come all the way up to 168, your weight, no catch weight, no none of that, and dethrone you.
Meanwhile, Turki Al Sheikh recently tweeted that he lost interest in the Canelo and Crawford fight. Many people believe it's because of Terence Crawford's poor performance at 154, which led Turki Sheikh to consider other fights for him. Some fans even believe that Canelo is asking for way too much money to have a realistic matchup. In another interview, boxing promoter Darius Coit was asked about Crawford's performance with Israel Madrimov, to which he responded that Crawford's punches lack the power they usually have.
Crawford has a close fight with Madrimov on the cards. I had it 8-4.
I don't think it was close.
Yeah. But I had it 8-4. They had it 7-5, which isn't that far off. But
yeah, it ain't that.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's one.
Now after seeing that fight, does it make you look at Crawford versus Boots different now that you've seen their last two performances?
When you look at Madrimov's size and the lack of because Crawford did land some punches, it's just they weren't as damaging as they usually are at 47.
Darius said that Crawford is a really strong little guy coming off of 135 pounds, and he also has a history of wrestling. Coit believed that 154 pounds is most likely Crawford's limit when it comes to his style. He further said that unless Crawford catches an opponent with something strong and sharp, he will never be able to finish them like he used to. Furthermore, Darius compared Crawford to Boots. He said that Boots has a lot of different styles, and he comes off really clean, plus he is a big dude. Coit further shed light on Crawford's existing abilities as a boxer. Don't think Crawford is big enough for Boots or Canelo at this point after watching that fight, because I just don't think that his power translator translates, but it could just be that one fight. Darius shockingly pointed out that it could be that Terence has just shown a poor performance in one fight, then all of a sudden he takes the right snack and bounces back up. Coit distressingly stated that it doesn't look like Crawford has the power to keep up with his opponent at 154. Darius also pointed out that if he was Boots Ennis, then he would be very happy because Terence may come back to 147 to stay a welterweight. If Crawford moves back to 147, then the obvious fight would be Boots Ennis. Coit thinks that the money will still be there with Boots and Crawford because Turkey is backing up the fights. Do you think Crawford can still fight Canelo? Let us know in the comments section below and subscribe for more content like this.